Hello friends, this video on alternating currents part 23 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till part 22 before going ahead with part 23. Let us further look at another problem. It says that a 15 microfarad capacitor is connected to a 220 volts 50 hertz source. Find the capacitive reactance and the current in the circuit. A 15 microfarad capacitor is connected to a 220 volt 50 hertz source. Right? So that means this is my capacitor which is connected to an AC power supply. So capacitance is given as 15 microfarads, that is 15 into 10 to the power minus 6 farads. The voltage source, that is Vrms, is given as 220 volts. Frequency is given as 50 hertz. So from this frequency we can calculate the angular frequency, which is 2 pi nu, that is equal to 2 pi into 50, that is 100 hertz. 100 pi radians per second. Right? We have to calculate the capacitive reactance and current, RMS and peak in the circuit. Okay, fine. So let us calculate the first part. First we have to calculate the capacitive reactance. So what would be the capacitive reactance? That is equal to 1 by omega c. So which is equal to 1 by 100 pi into 15 into 10 to the power minus 6. So this comes out to be 212 ohms. So this is the capacitive reactance. And now we have to calculate the value of current, RMS and peak. Now RMS current and peak current. So let us first try to calculate the RMS current in the circuit. So IRMS would be equal to Vrms divided by the net resistance, that is the net impedance in the circuit. So what is the net impedance in the circuit? The net impedance is nothing but the capacitive reactance, because there is no resistance, there is no inductor. So this will be equal to 220 volts divided by what is XC? XC is 212. So 220 divided by 212. This would be the value of RMS current, this much amperes. Now if you want to calculate the peak value of current, so the peak value of current would be root 2 times the RMS value of current. That means 220 root 2 divided by 212. So this comes out to be 1.47 amperes. So this is the RMS current and this is the peak current. So that's the first part of the problem. Now the second part says, if the frequency is doubled, what happens to the capacitive reactance and the current? So let us look at the second part. It says that if we double the frequency, that means if nu is doubled. So if frequency is doubled, what will happen to the angular frequency? Angular frequency will also get doubled. So angular frequency will also get doubled. Now if angular frequency get doubled, what will happen to the capacitive reactance? Since capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to the angular frequency, so if angular frequency gets doubled, the capacitive reactance will become half. So the capacitive reactance will be halved. And what will happen to the current? Now the current is inversely proportional. Current is inversely proportional to the capacitive reactance. So if capacitive reactance is halved, then current will be doubled. Okay. So now let us go ahead and look at another problem. This problem says that a resistor of 200 ohms and a capacitor of 15 microfarads are connected in series to a 220 volts 50 hertz AC source. That means you have a resistor and a capacitor which are connected in series to an AC power supply. That means this is resistor R, this is capacitor and this is your power supply. So resistor is given as 200 ohms. The capacitor is given as 15 microfarads, which is 15 into 10 to the power minus 6 farads. Vrms is given as 220 volts. Frequency is given as 50 hertz. So from this frequency we can calculate angular frequency, which is 2 pi nu, as 100 pi radian per second. Right? So in the first part, it asks us to calculate the current in the circuit. So it is not asking us to calculate the maximum current in the circuit. It is just asking to calculate the current. That means it is asking the effective value of alternating current. So we will calculate IRMS. So IRMS would be equal to Vrms divided by the net impedance. So this would be equal to Vrms divided by root over R square plus X. There is no inductor here, so only capacitor. So Vrms divided by R square plus XC square. So this would be equal to 220 divided by R square, that is 200 square, plus XC. What is XC? XC is 1 by omega C. That means 1 divided by omega into C whole square, right? So this IRMS comes out to be 0.755 amperes. So this would be the current in the circuit. Now in the second part, it asks us to calculate the voltage across the resistor and the capacitor. So we have to calculate the RMS voltage across the resistor and the voltage across the capacitor. So let us calculate the voltage across resistor. That will be nothing but the voltage drop across resistor. That will be IRMS into R, right? Because it asks us to calculate the RMS voltage. So we will consider RMS current. So this will be equal to 0.755 into R, that is 200. So it comes out to be 151 volts. Now let us calculate the voltage across the capacitor. So voltage across the capacitor would be equal to I into XC. So I here again will be IRMS, that is equal to 0.755 into XC is 1 divided by omega C. So this is equal to 0.755 into 1 divided by 100 pi into 15 into 10 to the power minus 6. So this comes out to be 160.3 volts. So we calculated the voltage across resistor and capacitor. Now the question asks, is the algebraic sum of these voltages more than the source voltage? If yes, solve the paradox. That means ideally the sum of these two voltages should be equal to the source voltage. But is it so? Let us try to see. So VR plus VC is equal to 151 volts plus 160.3 volts, which comes out to be 311.3 volts. Now ideally this should be equal to the source voltage. And what is my source voltage? The source voltage is equal to 220 volts. So why is this difference? So that means VR plus VC is not equal to the source voltage. That is because VR and VC are not in phase. We cannot directly add them to find out the resultant voltage. That's because VR, VC are not in phase. They are out of phase by pi by 2, right? Because whenever a capacitor is involved, there would be a phase difference of pi by 2. So let us suppose if this is VC and if this is VR, if this is VR and if this is VC, the resultant or the source voltage would be this one, right? So let us calculate the resultant here. Let's suppose this is resultant. So the resultant of these two would be root over VR square plus VC square. So let us calculate this. So VR is 151 whole square plus VC, that is 160.3 whole square. So this value comes out to be 220 volts, which is equal to the source voltage. So the paradox is the result. We just simply cannot add the voltage across resistor with the voltage across capacitance to get the source voltage. That is because the voltage across the resistor and the voltage across the capacitance are not in phase. They are out of phase by 5/2. So in order to find out the resultant of VR and VC, we have to use the expression root over VR square plus VC square to get the source voltage, right? So this expression is true. That means we can say that VR vector plus VC vector gives rise to Vs. But when magnitude is concerned, then we have to write it as root over VR square plus VC square, right? Okay, so now that we have solved a couple of problems on AC circuits, I hope that your concepts are clearer and your concepts are better now as far as AC circuits are concerned. So it is time now that we will switch to some other topics where we will study about the power associated with AC circuits, because that is something which we have still not covered. So we have to cover power associated with AC circuits, and then we will look at a new topic that is called LC oscillations, and then we will conclude the chapter with one very important application of alternating current, that is transformers. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.